Hey guys, it's Jo here, owner of I'm Her Women's Wellbeing, Kahuna bodyworker, yoni massage therapist, and pleasure and sensuality expert in my own universe. No, I live and breathe educating, supporting, advocating for pleasure, sensuality, all of it, because for you to feel completely at home in your body, in your life, in the relationships, in the choices that you make, your own pleasure and with your sensuality. So tonight I want to talk to you very briefly because it's actually a really big topic, but I actually have Thai takeaway waiting for me, which I can smell. So it's going to keep this short and sweet because I'm hungry. So tonight's Thirsty Thursday conversation is going to be about masturbation as an immunity boosting hack. So if you haven't tuned into a Thirsty Thursday conversation, these are me showing up roughly around 7 p.m. every Thursday to have a conversation, to broaden your awareness around sensuality, sexuality, to talk into the taboo, to give space and voice to what so much of us actually experience on this journey of life, but we are taught that it only gets to exist in silence and shame, and that's just bullshit. So I'm calling it out, I'm calling it forward, and this is my little way of doing it. So tonight's conversation around masturbation is an extension. For those of you who may not be aware, I am a Reiki master teacher. So this is an extension of my understanding of energy work, right? Because we're going to talk about immunity, immune health, states of dis-ease in the body, and states of complete bliss in the body from the perspective of measuring frequency. So there is something called the map of consciousness. And if you Google that map of consciousness, I believe it's David Hawkins, but that's probably not correct. Someone Hawkins. Who has done a map of consciousness. So different levels of consciousness and emotional states in the body have a frequency measurement, which tells you what you're feeling in your body is creating a frequency, a vibration, and actually bringing science and spirituality together in a really almost a tangible way, right? Measuring the frequency. And when we get to the frequencies of 500 and above, we start to hit emotional states of love, bliss, peace, spiritual harmony, right? These all start to vibrate at 500 and above. And an orgasm can be mapped actually from 200 and above, but it depends on the type of orgasm that you're having as to where it actually sits on the frequency scale. But a very heart-connected, almost like a love-making orgasm that makes you feel like you're connected into something greater than yourself, whether it's the relationship itself or whether the orgasm, maybe it's masturbation. An orgasm through masturbation is making you feel like you're connected to something beyond yourself. So when you're having that kind of heart-centered, almost out-of-body experience, you're hitting the 500 and above frequency measurements according to this scale of consciousness. So states of dis-ease in the body vibrate a lot lower than that. So they vibrate anywhere from about 150 down. And death is like 28. So the lower the vibration, the more we are vibrating in a space that can manifest as states of dis-ease in the body, and the emotional experiences that we can be having in the body at the same time as shame and guilt and fear. Okay? So when we look at our immune system, when we're having something compromise our vibration and we're feeling low, and maybe we just can't be fucked, and maybe we're cycling some shame, some guilt, maybe there is some emotional stuff going on, maybe it's just the cold and the flu that's got you feeling down and out, right? But you've got the physical experience of being unwell, and then you've got the emotional experience of whatever stories are going on for you alongside that, right? It pulls us into stories about relationship and work, wealth, scarcity, all of that. So when we allow ourselves when we're unwell, for example, to carve out time for intentional pleasure and masturbation and orgasm, we are consciously choosing to change our vibrational frequency. So when we have an orgasm, we go to 200 and above, right? Mostly around the 500 mark, but 200 above is the measurement of that vibrational frequency when we have an orgasm. So when you're unwell and you're vibrating closer to 100, to allow yourself to have an orgasm, you're going to boost. You're giving yourself a dose of frequency, energetic, vibrational medicine. You're also having a very hormonal response in the body. So all the feel-good, cuddle, lovey hormones, oxytocin boost, it's a natural pain relief. You're going to allow yourself to feel better for a little while afterwards. All right, so this is a great way to actually change how you're feeling from a hormonal experience as well. So the oxytocin hormones, your cortisol is going to drop, so your stress response is going to drop. Your feel-good, lovey-dovey, hug-me hormones are going to go up. You're going to feel brighter. You're going to feel more clarity because you're in that higher vibrational space. You might have the energy or the mental clarity to get through the next couple of hours, and then maybe you choose to go again, right? But we can actually use our pleasure and our body's ability to generate pleasure, to have orgasms, to help us out when we are actually unwell, when there's something going on in our body that's causing it to feel low, unwell, in a state of dis-ease. We can use pleasure and orgasms to shift that vibrational frequency. So I was doing a little bit of research then around the actual frequency, what's it called? The spectrum of like orgasms and the frequency they're on. So they go from about 200 and over, 200 to 900. 900 is meant to be like completely spiritual awakening out of the body, blah, blah, blah. And the reason why there's a sliding scale in terms of the frequency, the vibrational frequency, and the vibrational medicine available to you because of different types of orgasms, it's because of the way we bring our emotional self and our intent into it. So if we're having an orgasm that is, it's quick, it's run around the bush, it's loaded with guilt and shame because, we want to do the thing, but we haven't actually looked at where our beliefs around sex and sexuality have come from. We feel the shame anyway, and we do it anyway, but that orgasm is actually going to sit at the lower end of the vibrational frequency available to us from an orgasm because of the intent and the emotional around it. When we have orgasms that feel really heart-centered, that they allow us to kind of really come into the present moment, to almost turn all of our senses on and up so that we can have more of a sensory experience with the space around us. We're taking the time to not only bang one out, but we're taking time to almost go into a lovemaking ritual with ourselves that includes masturbation. That's when we start to move up towards the 500 vibrational frequency measurement. So we're on a scale of 200 and over. We're far above states of dis-ease, but we can actually, within the spectrum of vibrational frequency boosting, immunity boosting that's available to us with orgasm, when we apply intention and when we look at our emotional state and what we want to pour into ourselves through the art of self-pleasure, then we can allow ourselves to access higher states of frequency within the spectrum of the orgasm and the vibrational frequency that we're opening ourselves into. And then if we, you know, if maybe you're skilled in the art of tantra, maybe it's orgasms experienced with partners, with lovers, and then, you know, maybe there's some breath work that comes into it. You know, different moments of edging, of creating this sense of expansion within your pleasure. So you kind of go to the edge, you breathe, you notice what's there, you let yourself be curious, what more is possible. You go again, you find the new edge, right? So if being in this space of pleasure, holding the intention of expansion, right, then you can get this feeling of almost like your pleasure is encasing the entire planet, and you're having this very big out-of-body transcendent experience, otherworldly. You know, if you study or if you've looked into any tantra practices, you can use your pleasure, your edging strategies, your breath to move into an out-of-body experience. And that will take you from 700 and above in terms of the vibrational frequency, which is far higher than the 150, 100 and lower vibrational frequency measurement for illness, low immunity, and states of dis-ease in the body. So you can use pleasure, you can use masturbation, you can use orgasm to boost your immunity. And you can do it as a reactive tool, and you can do it as a proactive tool. There's no rules around that. The great thing about it, it is a natural medicine. There, you can't overdose. You can, as much as time as you can carve out, that's what's available to you. But my advice is to match your intention with it as well, so that if you're going to lean into an experience that's going to boost your vibration, boost your immunity, don't just settle for all right, let's just get one out, get it over and done with. Look at the ways in which you can bring in some more intention, making it a self-love ritual, whether it's for 5 minutes or 5 hours, it doesn't matter. But bring your intention into that space and really lift that vibration up to maybe more the 500 level. So if we're looking at that map of consciousness, we're looking at the vibrational measure of love and peace and bliss. And that's how you can shift your immune system, alongside lots of sunshine, good quality foods, natural solutions where possible to lower your toxicity. There's so many things you can do, and this is just one of them. But it is a really great one because it's also pain relief. It is a great way to help you feel more alive within your body, more connected to the people, spaces and things around you. It can give you a moment of clarity. If you're dealing with a bit of mental fogginess, it can clear that for you, and it can help you move forward a little bit in your day if you need to. So that's my tip for today. And I would love to know if maybe you already do you intentionally use pleasure and masturbation as a remedy for when you're unwell? Or are you about to start doing so? Because I highly, 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 highly recommend it. Own your power, own your pleasure, and have an amazing rest of your Thursday evening. I'll talk to you later, guys. Bye.